Good afternoon. This is Akashvani. I am Naresh Mago with the Midday News. The headlines. Political activities intensify ahead of Karnataka Congress Legislative Party meeting this evening in Bengaluru to elect their leader. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says multipolar world is feasible only by a multipolar Asia. First ministerial meeting of India-European Union Trade and Technology Council to be held in Belgium on Tuesday. Government approves fourth positive indigenization list of strategically important components to promote domestic defense industry. Voting underway in Turkey to elect new president and parliament. And in IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals to lock horns with Royal Challengers Bangalore in Jaipur at 3:30 this afternoon, while Chennai Super Kings to take on Kolkata Knight Riders in Chennai at 7:30 p.m. In Karnataka, political activities have intensified ahead of the Karnataka Congress Legislative Party meeting this evening in Bengaluru to elect their leader. After gaining an absolute majority in the assembly election, the Congress candidates who registered a win yesterday have arrived in Bengaluru. The party legislators will discuss further steps to be taken to elect the legislative party leader. Meanwhile, speaking to media persons, the outgoing Chief Minister and BJP leader Basavaraj Bommai said that the causes of defeat will be reviewed and suitable steps will be taken to consolidate the party in the state. He urged the Congress to fulfill their manifesto promises made to the people of the state and said BJP will extend all cooperation to the next government in the state. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has said that a multipolar world is feasible only by a multipolar Asia. Addressing the EU Indo-Pacific Ministerial meeting at Stockholm in Sweden, he said the more European Union and Indo-Pacific deal with each other, the stronger will be their respective appreciation of multipolarity. In his address, Dr. Jaishankar called on the leaders to consider 6 points, which include globalization, Indo-Pacific, and leveraging of market shares. On globalization, he said the European Union has major stakes in Indo-Pacific developments, especially as they pertain to technology, connectivity, trade, and finance, and it has to in respect for and observance of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The External Affairs Minister said that India and the European Union need a regular, comprehensive and candid dialogue, especially with regard to the Indo-Pacific.
Indo-Pacific itself is increasingly central to the direction of global politics. Among the issues that it throws up are the problems inherent in the established model of globalization. Recent events have highlighted the problems with economic concentration as also the need for diversification. De-risking the global economy now involves both more reliable and resilient supply chains as well as promoting trust and transparency in the digital domain. EU and indeed the world is better off with additional drivers of production and growth.
Dr. Jaishankar arrived in Sweden for a 3-day visit to participate in the EU Indo-Pacific Ministerial meeting yesterday. The first ministerial meeting of the India-European Union Trade and Technology Council will take place at Brussels in Belgium on the 16th of May. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal is one of the co-chairs, along with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology Rajiv Chandrasekhar. The EU side will be co-chaired by Executive Vice Presidents Mr. Dombrovskis and Ms. Vestager. The formation of the Trade and Technology Council was announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen in New Delhi last year. Tomorrow Mr. Goyal will have a bilateral meeting with Mr. Dombrovskis, followed by Working Group 3 stakeholder consultations in the presence of business leaders from both the EU and India. The Working Group 3 meeting will focus on trade, technology and resilient supply chains and would have 6 business leaders from the EU and India. In a run-up to the upcoming G20 Tourism Working Group meeting scheduled to be held in the Kashmir Valley, Chief Secretary of Jammu and Kashmir Dr. Arun Kumar Mehta has impressed upon the officers that the success of the international event is the collective responsibility of all of them. He urged them to fulfill the responsibility fully. The meeting was attended by all the high-ranking officers from the civil and police administration, either virtually or in person. Dr. Mehta urged the divisional and district administration to keep the concerns of people in mind while giving the final shape to the traffic, boarding, lodging and other logistic plans. He urged the involvement of the local population in the event. In Jammu and Kashmir, an infiltration bid by terrorists across the line of control in the Uri sector of Baramulla district was foiled by the Indian Army during this morning. According to defense spokesperson in Srinagar, a group of armed terrorists, while attempting to cross the line of control, were engaged in an exchange of fire with the alert troops, resulting in a failed attempt to intrude into the Kashmir Valley. A quadcopter flown by the Pakistan Army to aid the terrorists was also spotted across the line of control and was fired at, causing it to withdraw. This desperate action by the terrorists, duly abetted by the Pakistan Army, is yet another failed attempt to disrupt the G20 summit and create disturbance in the valley. The Council for the Indian Schools Certificate Examination CISCE will declare the result of ICSE Class 10 and ISC Class 12 at 3 this afternoon. The CISCE in a statement said that candidates and other stakeholders can access the results on the website cisce.org and results.cisce.org. It said for any queries pertaining to the results, schools can contact the help desk at helpdesk@cisce.org or can call on 1800-203-2414. It also said the individual candidates can apply for a recheck of their results using the Apply for Recheck button on the CISCE website. The recheck module will be activated at 3 p.m. today and will be available till the 21st of this month. In Maharashtra, one person was killed and 8 others, including 2 policemen, were injured after a clash broke out between members of 2 groups in Akola city over a social media post yesterday. The incident took place at around 11:30 p.m. in the Old City area. The police have detained 26 people in this connection, and Section 144 of the Criminal Procedure Code has been imposed in the area. Collector Nima Arora and other officials held a peace committee meeting. The meeting was attended by representatives of all religions and communities, along with leaders of political parties. The state government is constantly in touch with the district administration. The situation is under control now, and further investigation is underway. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. The Defence Ministry has approved the 4th positive indigenization list of 928 strategically important line replacement units, subsystems, spares and components. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has approved the 4th positive indigenization list with an import substitution value worth 715 crore rupees. It will promote Atmanirbharta in defence and minimize imports by defence public sector undertakings. Details of these items are available on Srijan portal. The defence public sector undertakings will undertake the indigenization of these items through different routes under the Make category and in-house development through the capabilities of MSMEs and private Indian industry. Home Minister Amit Shah will inaugurate a training program on legislative drafting in New Delhi tomorrow. The program is being organized by the Institute of Constitutional and Parliamentary Studies in collaboration with the Parliamentary Research and Training Institute for Democracies. It is aimed at creating an understanding of the principles and practices of legislative drafting among officers of Parliament, state legislatures and various ministries, statutory bodies and other government departments. The legislative drafting has a major impact on the interpretation of the policies and regulations implemented for the welfare of the society and the state, since legislative draftsmen are responsible for producing legislation which promotes democratic governance and gives effect to the rule of law. In Turkey, polling is underway to elect a new president and parliament. More than 64 million voters are expected to vote in the election. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's two-decade rule is facing a tough challenge from main rival Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, who heads an alliance of 6 opposition parties. 74-year-old Kılıçdaroğlu, a former bureaucrat, has promised to fix the faltering economy and restore democratic institutions compromised by a slide to authoritarianism during Erdogan's tenure. On the other hand, Erdogan has been extolling the virtues of his long rule, independent foreign policy, and his efforts to bolster Turkey's defense industry continuously. Recently, he raised the wages of government workers by 45% and lowered the retirement age. For survivors affected by the 6th of February earthquake, voting will prove harder because many have left their homes and can only vote where they are registered. In a presidential election, a candidate must win over 50% of the vote in order to be elected. Otherwise, the country will head to a runoff on the 28th of May. Results of the election are expected by tonight. In Thailand, voters are exercising their franchise in the general election today. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Army General who led the last coup in 2014, is seeking another term. In Thailand's bicameral system of the National Assembly, 52 million eligible voters are taking part to elect 500 members to the House of Representatives. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha is facing a strong challenge from anti-military parties. Leading the race is Pheu Thai, led by P. Shinawatra, who is the daughter of former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. The very severe cyclonic storm Mocha reached the Bangladesh coast near Cox's Bazar at around 9 this morning. The Bangladesh Meteorological Department said by noon, however, the main body of the cyclone will pass through the northern coast of Myanmar through Rakhine province, which is about 60 kilometers from Teknaf in the Cox's Bazar area of Bangladesh. Here is more in this report from our Dhaka correspondent.
The risk to Bangladesh due to the very severe cyclonic storm Mocha has reduced as its main body will pass through Myanmar coast about 60 kilometers away from Bangladesh's Teknaf area between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. today. The cyclone is expected to completely pass from Bangladesh by 6 in the evening. The Bangladesh Meteorological Department chief in a briefing around noon time in Dhaka said the wind speed in the center of the cyclone was reported to be 160 to 180 kilometers per hour. The tourist destination of St. Martin Island is experiencing winds up to the speed of 100 kilometers. More than 5,000 people from the island have been evacuated to safer places. At Teknaf, the wind speed was reported to be 80 to 100 kilometers per hour at 11:30 in the morning. The government has already evacuated more than 7 lakh people to cyclone shelters in the Cox's Bazar and Chattogram areas. Dry food, water purification tablets and cash have been provided to people who have arrived at more than 1,600 cyclone shelters prepared by the government. Rajesh Jha, Akashvani, Dhaka.
In Sudan, ceasefire talks between representatives of the warring sides will resume in Jeddah today. The warring factions, Sudan's army and the Rapid Support Forces signed a declaration of commitment on Thursday after a week of talks mediated by hosts Saudi Arabia and the United States. Meanwhile, heavy fighting between warring parties has continued in the Sudanese capital Khartoum and other cities ahead of the ceasefire talks. In IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals will lock horns with Royal Challengers Bangalore at the Savai Mansingh Stadium, Jaipur at 3:30 this afternoon, while Chennai Super Kings will take on Kolkata Knight Riders at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium, Chennai at 7:30 this evening. Yesterday, Punjab Kings beat Delhi Capitals by 31 runs at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. In another match, Lucknow Super Giants defeated Sunrisers Hyderabad by 7 wickets. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Political activities intensify ahead of Karnataka Congress Legislative Party meeting this evening in Bengaluru to elect their leader. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says multipolar world is feasible only by a multipolar Asia. First ministerial meeting of India-European Union Trade and Technology Council to be held in Belgium on Tuesday. Government approves 4th positive indigenization list of strategically important components to promote domestic defense industry. Voting underway in Turkey to elect new president and parliament. And in IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals to lock horns with Royal Challengers Bangalore in Jaipur at 3:30 this afternoon, while Chennai Super Kings to take on Kolkata Knight Riders in Chennai at 7:30 p.m. And with that, we end the midday news.